Y'all stop listening to everybody that comes on this app, especially people that have like millions and millions of followers. Because I just saw Isaiah Robbins come on here telling us to read the Apocrypha. Baby, if God wanted us to read the Apocrypha, it would have still been in the Bible. Stop intentionally.
What's up, y'all? So this little know-it-all comes in here on this platform, spouting off at the mouth, talking about, the Apocrypha is adding to the scriptures. Welcome to another episode of When Christians Post Scriptures and Don't Know What the Hell They Talking About. So she says, stop listening to everybody that comes on this app. So anyone that knows a little bit about history knows that the Protestant church removed the Apocrypha from the scriptures. See, the original King James 1611, it had the Apocrypha in it already. So she brings up Revelations 22 where it says you should not add to or remove. So the Protestants, they removed it. You Christians removed the Apocrypha, you see. Now, what Christians don't understand is that the Bible, when you go to the book of Daniel, chapter 8, it speaks about 4 kingdoms, 4 beasts. So it also speaks of the 4 captivities. When you read the scriptures, you understand that there are 4 captivities in this Bible. So you have the Babylonian captivity, you have the Persians and the Medes, you have the Grecian captivity, you see, the Grecian captivity, and you have the Roman captivity. So where can I find any information, or where can I read about the history of the Grecian captivity? You see, they took it out. It's in the Apocrypha, y'all. It's in the Apocrypha. So why would the Christians remove that history? All right, let's go to the book of John, Christians. Book of John, chapter 10. Let's jump over here to verse 22. It says, and it was at Jerusalem, the feast of dedication. The feast of dedication. You Christians like to do Christmas, when Jeremiah chapter 10 tell you don't do it. You see, feast of dedication is what you should be doing. This is the feast that you should be recognizing. So the feast of dedication, guess who else recognized the feast of dedication? And it was winter, and Jesus, HaMashiach, walked in the temple in Solomon's porch. So see, Christian, Jesus Christ, the Messiah, recognized the Feast of Dedication. You see, he was practicing the Feast of Dedication. But where is that history? Where did the Feast of Dedication come from? You see, because it's not in Leviticus chapter 23, where it lists all the high holy days that we should be recognizing. So where did that history come in? Why was Messiah keeping the Feast of Dedication? Now, if you notice, right next to the scripture that I just quoted, where Messiah was keeping the Feast of Dedication and he walked into the temple, right next to it, you'll see it says 1 Maccabees chapter 4, verse 59. Y'all, that's in the Apocrypha. Let's go there. All right, we're in the book of 1 Maccabees chapter 4. But go and get you a copy of the Apocrypha. You see, don't listen to dumb Christians that tell you, that the Apocrypha is not canon. Verse 59. Moreover, Judas and his brethren with the whole congregation of Israel ordained that the days of the dedication of the altar should be kept in their season from year to year. by the space of 8 days. See, you Christians, you have one day, the 25th of December. That's it. You see, the 25th of December is there are many pagan gods that were born on the 25th of December. You see, but 8 days from the 5 and 20th day of the month Caslu, with mirth and gladness. Mirth and gladness. So this is where Messiah, in John chapter 10, he is keeping the feast of dedication. This is where that history comes from. So when you go to the book of Galatians chapter 3, verse 28, where it says, there is neither Jew nor Greek, guess what? Paul, what did Paul mean by that? There's neither Jew or Greek. Because when you read in Apocrypha, 1 Maccabees chapter 6, verse 6, I believe it is. It was 2 Maccabees chapter 6, verse 6. It says, neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days. So why do you think Christians don't keep Sabbath days anymore? So it was neither lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days or ancient feasts, like the Feast of Dedication, Christian, or to profess himself at all to be a Jew. So when you go to Galatians 3, 28, where it says there's neither Jew or Greek, that's because there were Jews in the captivity of Greece that were not allowed to call themselves Jews. That's why Paul said there's neither Jew or Greek. So when the Christian church removed the Apocrypha, now Christians are dumbfounded because they don't know the history. So guess what, y'all? Whenever the Christian says that you shouldn't listen to everybody on this platform, that has millions of followers, that includes her too. You see, that includes her too. Stop following dumb Christians that don't know the scriptures, that don't understand that the Apocrypha was removed by the Protestant church, Christians, and, they don't know history of the Bible. They don't understand that there was a Greek captivity. So in the last days, truth is going to spring forth on the earth, as the scripture says. In the book of Luke chapter 8, verse 17, it says, there's nothing hidden that shall not be uncovered. So get you a copy of that book, the Apocrypha. You can find it on Amazon. Go and read it if you want to understand more about what our forefathers went through in the Greek captivity. You see, to broaden your horizons. Shalom.